What's up, guys? It's the Game Bro coming back to you. Look at another F1 review for the U.S. Grand Prix that happened yesterday. So, a little late to the party. It's been 2 years since the last American Grand Prix. The U.S. has been a growing market for F1 lately, especially with the success of the TV show from Netflix. Expected record crowd and something like over a weekend attendance of 400,000 people. And it looked it when you saw it. The incoming title battle. It seemed to have favored Mercedes in the recent couple weeks in races, but the reliability was an issue, especially with the ICE for the Merc. Lewis trying to play the mind games, getting into the head of Max, but I don't think that's going to work. Max doesn't really look fazed by whatever pussy shit Lewis is trying to pull. The midfield battle's really tight. Ferrari and McLaren really close. Got to kind of think that this track might favor Ferrari a little bit. Let's see. The track surface of Cota, fucking bumpy as hell. It's rough. Tire deg's going to be a problem, and then when you get the higher temperatures too. Did Pirelli bring the right tires? Let's see. But going into the race, we were looking probably at a two-stop strategy, and that's what it turned out to be. Good to see Daniel Ricciardo drive the Dale Earnhardt, I think the 84 Monte Carlo before FP3, and Zach Brown also got a Monza tattoo to celebrate the win after Toto egging him on. Reporting of the 2021 sims on the new cars being very difficult, might even be quicker than expected, but going to require some physicality to run those cars. We also got the Andretti interest in Sauber. I thought maybe something would get announced this weekend, being at America kind of team wanting to buy in, but hey, maybe it's not done yet. So let's get into the action. Also, leading up to this week, we had a little bit of Red Bull talking about the straight line performance of Mercedes. And I don't think it's anything illegal, but, just clever workings of the rear of the car, getting it to squat down on the straightaway to reduce drag, cut the stall on the rear wing, which is why, the low rake car finally now getting into that window where you could run that massive rear wing and still have some good straightaway power to boot. Plus, what kind of modes are they running in that Mercedes engine that are causing the reliability issues? Is it manufacturing? That's yet to be determined. So let's get into FP1. Just minutes into FP1, the Alpine of Alonso stopped at turn 12, bringing out the red flag with the power unit issue, but getting back into the end of the session later. Leclerc, Mazepin, and Raikkonen would all go for a spin, while Schumacher would get turned by Perez at turn 12. Mercedes ended on top, Bottas P1, Hamilton P2, almost a second up on Verstappen, struggling for balance with the two Ferraris behind in fourth and fifth. FP2 getting the second Friday practice going, saw the two rivals come close in turn 1, a little bit of radio chatter too to boot. And the session would see track limits delete the fastest laps by Verstappen and Hamilton, with Perez leading the way over Norris and Hamilton. But with both Friday runnings in the books, it looked to be in favor of the Mercedes and the well-composed W12. And they looked awesome on Friday. I mean, Red Bull really looked like they were scratching their heads, and Mercedes' car just looked like it was coping with the track so well. And you're like, oh, well, it really looked like it was going in the favor of Mercedes. But hey, just like Ferrari a couple years ago, Fridays don't win championships. But Mercedes still did. Hopefully not this year. It's Saturday now, and the times drop as the quali sims get underway, with track limits again coming into play. Perez would end the session again in P1 ahead of Sainz, P2, followed by Verstappen in P3, with Alonso taking a new power unit going off as well, as Russell finding the limits before the later session. Going into qualifying 2 as well, we had engine issues with the aforementioned Alonso, Vettel, Russell, and Bottas only getting a 5-place grid drop for his 7th or 8th, not really 6th, internal combustion engine. So I think that penalty is bullshit. The more you take, the more money you spend. Why does it drops to 5 instead of 10 after you use your 4th one? I mean, that's kind of bullshit, but hey, whatever. Anyway, now it's 5 o'clock, and I'm fucking pissed that it's this late. And in Q1, no surprise that Stroll, Latifi, Raikkonen, Schumacher, and Mazepin get eliminated, with a spin from Giovinazzi. Q2 would see the battle of the engine penalty guys, with Ocon also being eliminated in 11th, the rest not really caring. Q3 would see Sergio Perez take provisional pole on the first runs, as the pace of the Red Bulls showed up on Saturday from Friday. On the final run, Max would put in a 1:32.910 to take pole, as rain was incoming, followed by Hamilton and Perez. Bottas would be 4th, followed by Leclerc, Sainz, Ricciardo, Norris, Gasly, Tsunoda, with penalties to follow. It's Sunday, it's race day. Brundle's back to fulfill his contract, and we get a grid walk with bonus Williams rejection and Ben Stiller's Zoolander fandom with the Ferrari guys. It's lights out and away we go. Lewis gets a great start and goes down low as Max tries to cover him off and takes the lead. The battle on the opening lap with Sainz and the two McLarens was pretty good too, with Ricciardo getting in the fifth. The Canadians would also come together in the first corner, with Stroll going around and Ocon getting front-end damage off of Kimi. On lap 11, Max would pit for the undercut attempt with the fresh set of hards, but wouldn't be till lap 14 when Hamilton would pit, losing the lead in the process. Lots of action happening in the midfield with Alonso getting in on a lot of the action, making some risky moves. On lap 30, Max would pit again for hards, potentially a little early, really only halfway into the Grand Prix. On lap 38, Hamilton would finally come in for his final set and have a good amount of time left to hunt down Verstappen. After Sainz's slow pit stop, a charge at Ricciardo's P5 was ended when the McLaren hit the Ferrari, damaging Carlos's front wing, now vulnerable to the second Mercedes of Bottas completing the pass. Hamilton continues his charge at Max as the laps tick down, but once the gap got under 2 seconds, Max held serve, and other than the Schumacher getting away a little bit, cruises to the win, followed by Hamilton with the fastest lap, and Perez completing the podium. Leclerc a brilliant fourth, followed by Ricciardo, Bottas, Sainz, Norris, Tsunoda, and Vettel rounding out the points, with retirements by both Alpines and Gasly. Driver standings see Max take a 12-point lead now over Lewis, and Sergio now ahead of Norris for fourth. In the Constructors, Mercedes lead Red Bull only by 23 points now, and McLaren have only a 3.5-point gap ahead of the Scuderia. Alpine still hold a 10-point lead over AlphaTauri, and the rest remains unchanged. So what did I think of the race? I think this was a really important race for America and F1. The place was packed. F1 really needed to put on a good show. And although it was strategy-based, I think the crowd loved it. I think it was a fantastic race to watch. There was overtaking. There was neck-and-neck battling. The midfield guys were going at it. The top two guys in the title going at it. You didn't really know, did Max pit too soon? You thought he was, and Lewis, as always, give him the tires at the end, a little bit fresher. He's going to chase him down, and he did, but he couldn't make anything of it, and Max just took care of his car enough to maybe weather that storm at the end, even though Schumacher, probably another lap could have cost him, but that's a different story. It was just a great start, too. You had you had Lewis go into the first corner, got a great start, went down the inside, and got the lead from Max, and if it were anybody in third other than his teammate, probably would have taken second away as well. Ferraris looked good. McLaren was close, but you'd look to think that this would have been a better Ferrari track other than Carlos starting on the soft tires, but I don't think he did too bad, all things considering, other than Danny Ricks kind of pushing him out of the way there and costing him some damage, and then Bottas got around him as well. Going forward, Red Bull, Mercedes, it's going to be reliability problems, or Red Bull always seemed to get the DNF versus Mercedes, but what's going on with Mercedes engines? Are they pushing them that hard? I'm just a little curious there. I think it's track dependent on where they go now, and it looks to be maybe more of the Red Bull favor the following couple tracks, especially in Mexico, because with the altitude there, Red Bull always seemed to have an edge, but who knows? You got to run those, Monaco level spec wings there in the lighter air. So going forward, though, really excited to see the next 5 races. We'll see you in Mexico. The midfield battle also great. You had both Alpines retire, so that helped out AlphaTauri as well. Ferrari's nipping at the bits of McLaren, and we're really set up for a great title fight, I'm just so happy that, you saw the grid walk back with Brundle. He got snubbed by the Williams and that, that rapper I've never heard of with those bodyguards. Bitch needs to learn some respect a little bit. But all in all, it was great, the dude singing the national anthem. Kind of wish they would have picked someone a little more, show off America's shape a little bit. We had an eating contest as well to really piss off the Europeans. That was cool. And this track just really works the hell out of F1 cars. It's awesome to see. So I could see going forward them really wanting to pursue American racing with F1. It'd be cool to see, maybe a companion event going on from an American series. I don't think NASCAR would ever give in to want to be there on the same weekend as F1, and I really don't think IndyCar would want any part of it either. Especially, and here's the thing about that right now, you have Andretti wanting to buy into F1. Does that cheapen IndyCar? Potentially it does a little bit, because they're just going to be, in essence, a back of the grid kind of team, and you want to take your promising Indy talent and put them there. I feel like that cheapens it a little bit, versus lately you've had the F1 guys going to IndyCar having a blast and really giving credibility to that series as their guys can, race with the F1 guys, So, that's just what I think. I don't know. Either way, it was great to see an American event, awesome, and not like an '05 disaster. Imagine all those people there watching that now with social media. Would have been a travesty. Bury F1, the Miami GP would be canceled already if that happened. But either way, that'll be a cool thing to see next year, and hopefully some more going forward. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Check out my retro reviews. Creed goes with everything. And have a good week, everybody. I think it's, 2 weeks till Mexico City? We'll see you then. Olé.